You're listening to Last Word Radio, where you get the last word.
Welcome to the Fourth Line Podcast, part of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB. This is June the 5th, 2018. With you today is myself, Carl, and the always wonderful Joel. We've given him a day off. It's a busy time in Joel's life, and so we're giving him the day off, but we have a very exciting guest with us today. Herman Villegas is back with us last summer. Has it been that long since you were with us?
I think so. It was last summer, yes.
Yeah. So
I'm excited.
Back to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Carl. This is exciting. I'm so excited to be here.
You are one of the co-hosts of the 104 podcast. Why don't you let everyone know about that? That's your new venture. Can we call it a venture? Is it a venture?
Sure.
All right.
Why not? We
venture.
can call it a venture. It's an adventure. The 104 podcast is a podcast specifically about the Edmonton Oilers. So me and my friend Elliot Tanti, who's also part of the Alberta Podcast Network, he's the co-host of the High Level Showdown, which is a politics show. We love hockey. We wanted to talk about the Oilers. And as you know, like Rogers Place is on the corner of 104th Street and 104th Avenue. Therefore, that's the name of the 104 podcast.
I had no idea. I have to this day, I have no idea why your show is called the 104.
Well, now you know. Rogers Place.
I've never seen Rogers Place in person.
Really?
I've just seen pictures of it and video. Yeah. I've never.
See, that's a trip. Carl, next time you're in Edmonton, we're taking a field trip. Well, because that's a gorgeous place.
I think I've only been there. I've been in Edmonton once since it's opened, I think. And I spent my free time with you, so.
Oh yeah, that's true. And it was snowing, so it was like
it was not the best time for me to go touring the city. It was the middle of a blizzard. It's not fun.
It was a picturesque Edmonton day. So come on a better time. How about that?
Yeah, maybe in the summer. Maybe we'll find some time this summer to make my way up to Edmonton. And
that would be fantastic.
We'll make that happen. But
we'll make it a field trip.
We are very excited to have you on the show. As you mentioned, you're part of the Alberta Podcast Network with your show. We'll get into that a little bit later. Before we get into the Stanley Cup Finals, we'll remind everyone about the great folks at ATB Financial. If you head over to atb.com/listens, you'll be able to let them know what you're looking for in a bank. And then you can work together to find out the best fit for you. Because ATB has so many different things that they can help you with your banking needs, whether it's for your business, whether it's for your personal stuff. They've got you covered. And so head over to atb.com/listens and find out what they have for you, because they have it. So do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. ATB is a good brand. ATB is a good brand.
Game 5 is coming up. Vegas down 3-1. My Washington Capitals. Can I declare myself back? No, I'm not back on the bandwagon, but it's like I still have a little bit of affection for them.
Were you off the bandwagon? When were you off the bandwagon?
Well, I have officially was off the bandwagon since last summer. But
were you on the bandwagon this playoffs?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since when? Since
they beat the Pens. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're like on the back end of the bandwagon, right? Like just beside the door, just like waiting. Maybe we'll make a stop.
But like at the same time, I look at him like, you know what? Like, I can also pull. Well, there's enough people. Joel, for instance. I know some of the folks that write for the site. Some of our other listeners have definitely called me out for getting back on the bandwagon. But also, you can look at it like kind of like a hipster thing. Like I was on the bandwagon before everyone else was. Like like if we just ignore the 10 months when I got off the bandwagon, just ignore those, and just I've been on it the whole time.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a lot of room on that bandwagon. So you're good. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's fine.
Nonetheless, I'm excited. I'm excited that Washington's up 3-1. They have looked fantastic in these games with a combination of Marc-Andre Fleury looking human. Like Marc-Andre Fleury has not looked anywhere close to what he has been the first three quarters of the playoffs, he's looked like an average goaltender, while Braden Holtby continues to be fantastic.
Is this like the scariest lead for the Washington Capitals? This 3-1 lead is like. Do you think like there's one Washington Capitals fan that's like confident in their team right now? Do you think that all of them are like, yeah, we got this in the bag, or do you think that there's like the majority of fans are like, yeah, it's 3-1 though, but like, it's 3-1. Like, do you think that people are nervous?
No. Yes. Some people are going to be nervous, right? Like, obviously there's going to be some people who are fairly nervous about this lead, but you're up 3-1. Enjoy it. Celebrate it. If you lose game 5 tomorrow, not tomorrow, Thursday, because the NHL hates playing with any sort of momentum. Game 5 Thursday. If you lose game 5 Thursday, you still have 2 more shots. Like you can lose. Do you think that you will lose 3 games in a row to the Knights? I don't. I don't. Right now, no. I look at that and I think you have all the confidence. Everyone, like line by line, Washington is playing better. I have great, fantastic confidence in what they're doing. They've managed to, even Vegas had a shot advantage in that last game, but they also had that shot advantage down 3-0 early. And so I look at that and I'm like, yeah, sure. You have a great pushback when you've already given up a huge lead.
Yeah. That Vegas first period was the best a team has ever seen, that I have seen, down 3-0. Like that, they almost dominated that first period, but they ended up down 3-0. It was a really weird game for Vegas. And maybe, like James Neal was saying, how if he didn't miss that wide open net, he hit the post on that, which is unlucky, like that, whatever.
It's that not unlucky. You have an entire open net.
That is true.
It's a skill thing. Just put it in the empty net, James. It's not that hard. You're a professional athlete. Like I have hit that net from that distance.
That's true.
I'm not good. So
yeah, but like if I'm just saying, like if they would have got that 1-0, maybe the game looks a little bit different. But at the same time, like Washington's been good. Washington's been really good, and there's no doubt about that. And like you're absolutely right about Marc-Andre Fleury. He's got like an 840 in the finals. It's pretty bad, right?
Yeah, as opposed to his 940 save percentage the rest of the playoffs. A little different, a little change.
It's a little bit different, and like I don't know, like I think Washington's got like Vegas on their heels, and they kind of figured out their game. Like I think they figured out their game in like game 3. Like it's funny because Washington played a very good, like solid game. It felt like kind of like a road game for Washington. It was very like they kind of held Vegas, and then they just scored when they could, right? So I'm confident for the Capitals. I do think that Vegas is going to sneak out another win, but I think there's no way Braden Holtby loses 3 games in a row. I don't see it.
Unless whatever voodoo has happened to Marc-Andre Fleury happens to him as well. Yeah. I don't think that's happening. And first off, I'm having this debate. You help me out here. So, as everyone knows, we've moved away from Mondays because of slow pitch. The fourth line's playing slow pitch. Last night, big news. We won 20-0.
Ooh, big win. Yeah. Big win.
And that's a mercy right there. So mercied them in the 3rd inning. It was a whirlwind of game. So missed the majority. Luckily, the game ended early, so I was able to watch most of the second half of last night's game. Also have sports this Thursday. If this is the last game of the season, I have to skip, right? Like, even though you think Washington's going to give up the loss Thursday, I've got to skip, right? I've got to watch the potential last game of the season.
Okay, so here's my question. Is it a playoff game that you're skipping?
No.
Okay, then you can skip it.
Yeah.
You can skip it. Or at least have it, like, streamed. Like, you can just go on, some site that I don't want to name because it's probably not your sponsor or anything, but like
we have,
we could stream that.
Yeah. We would head to NHL.com and watch it there.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's fine. Why not? I have done that actually. I remember when the LA Kings won the Stanley Cup, one of their first, I think the first one. I definitely streamed that at work, and it was like I remember walking to Tim Hortons and streaming that. I think it's the game, like it's the one game in the season you got to watch, like them lifting up the Stanley Cup if they do. Not gonna, like I know Washington Capital fans are just like don't talk, don't jinx it. Stop
talking.
So I don't know, but what if they lose? Like that's the thing.
Well,
then
if they lose, then I have dinner plans on Sunday. So, it's really, if the NHL would just maybe stick to not having a million days in between games, I could plan my life around it. But I'm like, it's very difficult. This every other day thing, that'd be a lot nicer.
They're terrible at scheduling, hey? This is the worst schedule I remember for a playoffs.
It was the same as last year. Like,
was it?
I think every final they give them 2 days for travel. It's not nearly as bad. I give the NHL a lot of garbage. The NBA gave them 2 off days between games 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
So that was, I think what they did was they just wanted to give J.R. Smith enough time to figure out what the score was. I think
it's probably at the end of the game. Did we lose? I think we lost, right?
Yeah.
LeBron, like, you're pretty sad. We lost, right?
J.R., just, you know what? Just take an extra day off. Watch the replay a couple times, figure out what the score was, and then once you realize you've lost, then you can play game 2.
Oh man. Love that. That was really funny, actually. Yeah. Poor J.R. Smith. Actually, not poor. He's a millionaire. He's fine.
Yeah, he got paid $14 million to not know what the score was. How do you not know the score of the game? Like, hockey, it's easier, right? Hockey, there's so few scoring chances. But even then, it's not like it happened in the middle of a series. He's standing at the line. You can just look up at the scoreboard, give it a quick check.
Yeah. It's funny because it's, you know how like hockey fans always like out yelling, shoot. He probably would have used that. That would have helped him, actually.
It's
like
true.
during that time.
If LeBron had have yelled shoot, he might have.
Yeah. It's like, you have the rebound. You should just shot. Nope. He's playing pickup.
Yeah. All right. So you think it's going, my original pick was Washington in 6. I'll stick with that.
That was my pick too.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So
I think Vegas wins at least one more. I think they go back home. They win. Washington wins at home. Ovi gets to lift the Stanley Cup.
TJ Oshie's going to take transit to the game again, and then apparently transit in Washington shuts down very early, and so he won't be able to take transit home. I'm genuinely concerned that TJ Oshie might not make his way home after they win the cup in Game 6. Knock on wood.
Gotta make that call to Qatar.
Yeah,
the Qatar government. Make sure he gets that transit pass so he can go home. That's really funny how like Twitter, like hockey Twitter, just really goes bananas when like a player takes like the train home, or like, oh, he's like one of us. He doesn't like drive. It's like just takes the train like everyone, like us plebs. So it's really, they love that. It's like it's such an easy viral story.
Well, it's all part of the whole, and this playoff is starting to drive me more crazy than ever before. The please like my sportness that hockey Twitter can be sometimes.
Oh my gosh!
Look, this guy's he's one of us. He's an everyman.
Yeah,
look how cool he is. You wouldn't see NFL players taking the train. LeBron's not taking the train to the game.
No way. Like every year there's something like please like my sport, or like, oh my gosh,
every week there's something. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
It's every time I just see that, like, oh my god, this one player like dived, and we like hockey players, something like Alexander Ovechkin got hit in the face with a puck. They would never see that. I'm like, okay, like that's enough. He has a helmet. He's okay, and he's Alexander Ovechkin. You know, like I don't know
if because they give examples of basketball, soccer players. Sure, that's a different story. But like, if a basketball player were to take a puck to the face in the finals, he would also stay.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Like I'm not questioning the fact of if they would leave the court. that's going to happen. It's the finals. Like, if you do actually leave, you probably don't deserve the championship.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's funny because it's like maybe like if Alexander Ovechkin broke his nose because the puck was hit in the face, he probably would leave the bench. He might have. He'd
definitely have just go back there, shove some gauze up that nose, and get back out there.
Get that little smelling salt and just like, oh, we're good. We're good.
I don't think a smelling salt works if you have a broken nose. I don't think you can actually smell a smelling salt.
He's still going to do it. He's still going to do it. Don't break that dream. He's definitely still going to do it.
Okay, you're probably right. Yeah. I'm not a doctor. And Joel, our resident doctor, is not here, so.
Well, there we go.
Where do you stand on the Conn Smythe right now? For me, if I'm handing out the Conn Smythe as it stands, I know the odds, and I know this guy, I believe, is currently fourth place, the fourth most likely player to win the Conn Smythe. I'm going Braden Holtby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. We'll talk. We'll get to your pick.
I'm kidding.
I'm going
Braden Holtby.
Yeah, sure, he didn't start the playoffs as the goaltender somehow. For some reason, Barry Trotz thought, you know what, maybe Philip Grubauer can win us a Stanley Cup. Maybe that's the guy we need to hang our hat on. Luckily, he realized that was wrong.
Thank
fixed
God.
it, put Holtby in net, and now we're here.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
I think if you give up in 5-6 games, if you average a goal, 2 goals a game, that's no matter what any other player on the team does, especially when you're putting up a 6 spot. Like when you're putting up a 6 spot, it's very easy for a goaltender behind there to lighten up, right? It's only been the one game. Game number 1 had a bad game. Both goalies had a bad game that night.
They sure did.
But through the Lightning series, through the rest of this series, Braden Holtby has been everything that his team needs him to be, and then some. And when you contrast it to what Marc-Andre Fleury's doing on the other side, which you shouldn't when you're handing out a Conn Smythe or looking at goalies, but it stands out even more when you look at what's happening on the other end and you say, wow, there's not a lot happening there.
Yeah, I'm with you on Braden Holtby. I think he's done a fantastic job. Before the series, I thought it would take a ridiculously bad effort on Marc-Andre Fleury's part to lose that Conn Smythe, but he's done it. So I don't know.
Yep. Congrats.
He's written himself out of the Conn Smythe conversation. I thought he was going to pull a Jaguar, but he's not. I think, to be honest, this is Ovi's Conn Smythe to lose. But if I think who deserves it more, I think it's got to be Kuznetsov. Evgeny Kuznetsov has been one of the best Washington Capitals players, through and through, throughout all 4 rounds, and he's got the memorable moments too, right? And he's got the cool celebration. He's got the game-winning goal against Pittsburgh. He's been clutch for most of these playoffs, but he's not going to win because he's a younger player, and he's got Don Cherry's doesn't have his vote, but.
Well, Don Cherry's not voting for a Russian. Come on. Those guys aren't getting any votes from Don Cherry.
Yeah, Braden McNabb's getting Don Cherry's vote. That's who it is. Or Tom Wilson's getting Don Cherry's vote. That's who it is.
Yeah, it's for sure Braden McNabb. He's got a big old crush on that. We'll get to him in a second. But do you think that Ovi gets it as a legacy award? He's been so good for so long that they just he has been good this playoffs, and so they'll give it to him? Totally.
100%. This is exactly the same thing that happened to Sidney Crosby when he stole it from Phil Kessel. And the same thing that happened to Sidney Crosby when he stole it from Evgeny Malkin. So it's I do believe that they see Alex Ovechkin's name and he's been really good. It's not that he's been terrible. He's actually been really good. He
has been good. I would say good, not great.
Yeah.
Especially in the finals. He has had great moments, and I think consistency through the playoffs has been a huge piece for him. But, when you look at Kuznetsov, who, 5 points up on Ovi, sitting with 31 points, but also the fact of and I'm sure Ovi has something, but like Kuznetsov, we saw him leave the game immediately in this series, right? Was that game 2?
Yes.
Left immediate and like looked pretty tender. Didn't finish that game, came right back out. Game time decision, quote unquote, for the next game.
Playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I would go him over. Oh, if I'm going skater, that's who I'm going. Is Kuznetsov.
Yeah, I agree. It's got to be Kuznetsov. Then this is my thing. It's got to be like it's Kuznetsov, Ovi, Holtby. Like I agree with Holtby. I'm just like Ovi as being the captain. Like I said, he's been really good, and he's been their guy. I do think it's not going to be an undeserved trophy if he gets it, and I'd be really shocked if he didn't get it. So it's got to be Kutsi and then Ovi.
Yeah, and if Vegas manages to win this series, I know we're talking like Washington's already won the cup, but if Vegas does win it, it'll be whoever leads the charge in these 3 games is going to get the Conn Smythe. Right?
It is. Like it has to be.
So
it has to be. It could be Shea Theodore. I don't know. It
is most certainly not going to be Shea Theodore. I can guarantee you that. He has been miserable. No,
I don't know.
You're gonna give it to
all of a sudden like it's like a hat trick and then like scores 2 game-winning goals and then all of a sudden he gets a Conn Smythe. I don't know.
Yeah, they do love their game-winning goal stats. Maybe just hand it to Jake Gensel still then. It would probably, like, I would assume it would be Marcia show if he was going, if Vegas were to win. He's had a good playoffs as well, but
he does. He's had.
Yeah. So Holtby for me, Ovi for you. Ovi's not my pick. That's not who I would choose, but I definitely think he's the pick.
I pick Kuznetsov. I think Kuznetsov deserves it. I think you're right about Holtby, but I think Ovi's going to win it. I think Kuznetsov deserves it. Ovi's going to win it.
So what about some of these? So the Conn Smythe will get handed out at the final game when they're handing out the cup. They'll hand out the Conn Smythe as well. But a couple weeks down the road, we're going to be sitting at the NHL awards ceremony, and we haven't really touched on the awards at all.
Okay.
We kind of just jumped straight into the playoffs. They announced them. We kind of were like talked a little bit about. I think we might have talked about the Vezina because the fact that Bobrovsky's not going to win it is ridiculous.
That's kind of ridiculous.
But and I think for me, I look at the Hart Trophy and I'm like, we'll just hand it to Nathan MacKinnon. Like it doesn't matter. He's already up against Taylor Hall and Anze Kopitar. Nathan MacKinnon's got the Hart on lockdown. So we didn't even I think we might have talked about it to that degree. I was just like, cool, McKinnon's got it, and we go. So I don't know, like, where are you at on that one?
On the Hart, I abstain from this vote because I don't believe that McDavid is on. Anyways, saying the fact that McDavid is not on this ballot, I would definitely go for McKinnon. I think Hall has been fantastic, and I love Taylor Hall too. And as an ex-Oiler, but with the Devils, he's been just absolutely fantastic. He's like Nico Hischier is their next best scorer. And he was everything to that Devils team. But like McKinnon just was on like some ridiculous mode for the rest of the season. It was amazing. Like he had like what was the streak that he had? It was what was the point streak? I think it was like 15, 17 games, something like that.
Well, Hall was the one with the long streak.
Right.
Hall he had that injury in the middle, which kind of like put the asterisk next to it. So, but the streak you're thinking of is probably the Avalanche.
Oh, the Avalanche
game-winning streak.
Right.
In which he went off during that.
Yeah.
And what was impressive to me, what I want to know what caused this, because quite literally, and it changed a little bit of the deployment for the team and stuff, but it is dramatic. You kind of look at some things and you're like, when did a guy turn it on? And you look at like I didn't look at the 5-game moving average. I just looked at like per game because it was, no, did I? No, it was total season, cumulative across the season is what I was looking at.
Right.
For his, I think I just looked at Corsi because it was an easy one to look at. And just looked at that, and you see like he started solid and then kind of like dipped and kind of was lulling around. And then it just started going up for the rest of the season from a certain point in, I believe, November, when Matthew Duchene headed off to Ottawa. And I've never seen like such a dramatic shift. Like, he had a fantastic end of the season. No one really remembers the fact that like he was okay at the start, but it was literally Matt Duchene left that locker room and Nathan MacKinnon was like, all right, here I go. Like, there was whatever it was that was holding him back left. Or he just had that.
And his name was Matt Duchene.
He took ownership of that team. Consistency in the line. There was a lot of consistency with that line with Landeskog, Rantanen, and McKinnon through the second half of that season, because you don't mess with that line. You have that was a BC line. Just leave it. So
yeah. I like. Okay, so it's funny with the Matt Duchene thing, because I never really saw that coming. I mean, we heard like rumblings of like there's friction with McKinnon and from last year, and like he demanded a trade and whatnot. Like, but I never really kept up on Avalanche. Like what is the insider in this? But like what I'm just curious of what happened in that locker room. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you're right. Like, maybe it was taking control of the team. Maybe it was like maybe because Duchene is gone, all of a sudden McKinnon stepped up into his more of a leadership role and saying, you know what, let's work with what we have and let's just do the best we can. And then having somebody, maybe it's like Sam Girardi. I don't know. Like,
that guy was a good pickup.
Yeah, it was a fantastic pickup. And like, I don't know where McKinnon all of a sudden got that gear, but I feel like that gear's been there with McKinnon for a while, but not at this level. I think something just kind of like there was a weight off his shoulder. And I think you're right. Maybe his name was Matt Duchene. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knew the monkey on his back was named Matt? One thing that is interesting to me, you made mention of the fact that you put your own asterisk next to something, and you said because Connor McDavid's not nominated for this Hart Trophy, you'll go McKinnon. You don't actually think that Connor McDavid should be winning the MVP this year, do you?
100% I believe this. 100% I believe it. I do.
No.
I do. No, 100%. I'm not even trolling. I am 100%
You're not trolling,
this.
you're just homering. Like,
no, I am not homering.
The Oilers guy, the guy from Edmonton.
I know it might seem like it's like a bias, but like, okay, I'm going to admit there's a little bit of a bias, but
yeah, a lot. But make your case. Come on.
I will make my case. Here's the thing. If McKinnon didn't have his team behind it that are making the playoffs, or let's just go Hall. Like, if Kincaid didn't make a good season after Schneider, wasn't good at the start. Like, if Kincaid doesn't make the Devils make the playoffs, and if McDavid, if like Cam Talbot had a better season than the season that he had, and Milan Lucic didn't have like 38 points, then McDavid would be winning this, like, running away. Like, he player that had the best season in the NHL, and we're not even considering him to be nominated for the Hart. Like, that to me is asinine. Like, it makes no sense for individual player trophy to be decided by the rest of the team. Like, there's like, I just don't know what to say about that. Like, he was the best player with the best season. Like, I don't know. He had a better season than his MVP season. Like, I don't know what more to say. Like that's my case for it. I don't believe he didn't get nominated. I don't know why Anze Kopitar got nominated. I understand he had a great season, but like, come on. I just felt spiteful to me. It really did.
There's a reason we're not. The fact that Anze's name just got mentioned now speaks to where he is in this ranking, right? Like, yeah, he's in there too. Like, I pulled up numbers for Nathan MacKinnon, Taylor Hall, and Connor McDavid. Anze wasn't even in there. Yeah. To me, I would have McDavid as the third in my ranking. I would go MacKinnon, Hall, McDavid.
Mm-hmm.
But like, to me, this is how I feel about it. I'm uncertain. I don't have an answer.
Okay.
I'm left in this balance because I look at this and I'm like, all right, like, you put the best player in the league, which I do think Connor McDavid is the best player in the league. You put him on the worst team in the league. which if you had this year's Oilers team without Connor McDavid, who knows what it would look like. But let's say you shove him on the Buffalo Sabres.
Right.
And then you look at what's around him. Yes, that is by definition of the most valuable player. That's what Connor McDavid is.
Yeah.
Which, if you do it by that definition, then the MVP every single year should go to the best player on the trashiest team.
Not the trashiest team, but just the best player, right? Like, we're deciding the best player.
The Hart Trophy
the most valuable player on the team, right? Like, who is more valuable than McDavid on any team? Like, look, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so soccer, like, I'm going to go back to another sport. So soccer hands out.
Okay, this is, I will let you have this point.
Okay.
And I'm just going to assume that you're right, because I have no idea. Make your soccer point.
All right. I think you'll figure it out. Okay, so soccer hands out their Ballon d'Or, which is the best player of the season.
I will accept that as fact.
It always goes to Ronaldo or Messi. Like, always. It's either Ronaldo or Messi, and they go back and forth. In basketball, they pick out a great player. They like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry. They just pick out an amazing player. Like, I don't understand why that has to be like we have to decide on the specific teams. And not only that, like, Nikita Kucherov had a fantastic season, and he also is not nominated. But was he penalized because the Tampa Bay Lightning were so good? Like, that part doesn't make sense to me either. Like, and also like Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux had also a fantastic season. He didn't get any votes. Why? Like this seems so arbitrary as to how the voting happens. And I'm so, like, this year specifically, and I'm so glad people are like, we actually get to see who votes what this year, because it's very, very interesting, because I'm very curious as to why McDavid was left off the ballot. Because to me, it feels very spiteful. To me, it feels like we're just going to do the same thing as we do every single year. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's not the same thing as every year. Last year, they gave him the award. So
that's because he made the playoffs, right? But he had a better season this year. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, so my thought behind it is we just need to change the award. You can still call it the Hart Memorial Trophy. Fine, I don't care. But it is handed out to the player judged most valuable to his team. And this is where I look at Kucherov had a great year. However, you cannot have a guy who has arguably he does have a Vezina Trophy caliber goaltender, a Norris Trophy caliber defenseman, and then look and say that this forward, who sure, he led the league in points, but he is most certainly not the most valuable to his team compared to players on other teams, right?
Right.
Because you take Nikita Kucherov off that team, they're still a playoff contender. You take Connor McDavid off the Oilers, and they are still not a playoff contender.
Yeah, but that's the thing. This is an arbitrary rule. Like, we're going to the playoffs. Like,
that's why they should just change it. It shouldn't be the most valuable player. That is an arbitrary, objective thing. Just make it most outstanding player. There is one thing in the world that the CFL does right, and that is having a most outstanding player award. That's the only thing.
Yeah, you know what? And maybe, like, and I think you're right. But I mean, like, all the cases too, like Sidney Crosby's won the Hart. I'm sure he had Marc-Andre Fleury as a goalie during that time.
That's probably when Marc-Andre Fleury was bad.
He probably won a cup already during that time, I think.
On the back of Sidney Crosby.
Probably. But at the same time, like, Ovechkin's won Hart. Like, there's been times, like, Jerome, you're in Calgary. Like, I mean, I know you're not a Flames fan, but like Jerome McGinley got robbed of a Hart because of that ridiculous rule. And we gave it to Jose Theodore. And we robbed Jerome McGinley because he didn't make the playoffs. Like, that to me is ridiculous. And I think it's one of the things where hockey just really is messing up on.
Interesting. Here's an interesting trivia fact courtesy of this website called wikipedia.org.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. I went on the Bing and I found this website.
All right.
So
Bing.
they inform us that Jose Theodore is an answer to a trivia question, everyone except for 3 players who's won the Hart and retired is in the Hall of Fame. Jose Theodore, Al Rollins, and Tommy Anderson are the only 3 who are not. I don't think Jose is getting that Hall of Fame ballot anytime soon. So sorry.
No, he's not.
Sorry, Jose. Let's go to some other news of the day.
All right.
The New York Islanders. Lou Lamoriello left Toronto, went to the island a few weeks back. We talked about that on the show. Today, they made official what I think we all knew was coming. For sure, at least the general manager-ness. Garth Snow, relieved of his duties, which is always a great thing to say. So I don't want to.
Thought it would never happen. Thought it would never happen.
I don't want to. I just meant as a maturity thing. Just the phrase "relieved of duties" in regards to someone's job just makes me chuckle. But Garth Snow is out. Doug Weight is out as the coach. Both of them still in the organization, which means they're just being paid to go home.
Right.
They're not going to cut them until someone's going to pay them to take them away. Lou Lamoriello in as general manager, and we'll see what this means for John Tavares. You saw people chomping at the bit today to have the hottest of takes of, well, this helps John Tavares stay. This doesn't help John Tavares stay. John Tavares loved Doug Weight. John Tavares didn't trust Garth Snow. Which was it? Who knows? Who cares? John Tavares is going to make his decision independent of, well, not, I don't say independent. This does affect, I would say, if I was John Tavares, and I think this is the biggest thing, right? Because whatever they're doing, whatever changes they're making, their off season, it doesn't matter. If Tavares leaves, it doesn't matter what they're doing. Their trajectory changes remarkably once he walks out the door.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's funny because I know Joel's not here, but like we can blame the Leafs on this, right? Like we can definitely blame the Toronto Maple Leafs on this firing, correct?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Why not, right? Like Lou Lamoriello leaves and everybody gets fired. I was very surprised to see Garth Snow leave because at the end of the year, I feel like he got like a vote of confidence, which I feel means nothing in the NHL. But at the same time,
if anything, that's like a death sentence.
Yeah, I think so too. So I'm hoping now because Pete Chiarelli also got the vote of confidence that maybe this will change.
Garth Snow's available.
He did rob 2 players from the Oilers. So the thing is that like I love Doug Weight as a player. He has a soft spot in my heart. He was part of a team when I was 16 years old, and that's usually the time when you love hockey is when you're like 16 or 15. He was around that time, and I love Doug Weight. Sorry to see him go. But with the Tavares thing, it's really weird because if the Stamkos thing kind of like it shook me. I think it was like 2 years ago. I really thought Stamkos was going to leave because I was like, no, he's waiting forever to make a decision. Like his decision is made already. I really felt that he was gone, but then he stayed. So like to me, I'm just like, this is really weird.
To be fair, I think your reactions to that were short-lived because that was also the day Taylor Hall got traded.
Oh yeah, that was. I blacked out for 2 days.
Yeah, so it was all very fresh when you woke up later that week.
Yeah, I was like, "What? Stamkos stayed too? Oh my god! Oh, and PK Subban got traded. What?" Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know about John Tavares. I think. I mean, the Islanders were the worst in the Metro, and like. Doug Weight and Garth Snow. I mean, Garth Snow should have been fired a long time ago. I don't know much about Doug Weight as a coach to really comment, but like
I was impressed. Well, my thoughts. I was impressed with what I saw from him as a coach. He came in, turned that team around after Capuano left, and did fairly well. Tavares obviously had a huge part in that, and a lot of people said that he was a fan of how Doug coached that team, but he managed to turn around in year 1. But you see a lot of coaches do that. So yeah, totally. I'm with you. I'm not entirely surprised that he's gone after missing the playoffs after such a short time.
Yeah, excuse me. I'm not surprised either, especially since they had some really good players. Like Matt Barzal's increase in I mean, his emergence as a player was fantastic. And same thing with Villiers. But like Halak had a terrible season. And
I was gonna say they honestly, you know this very well. They had the same issue as the Oilers, right? Like they had quality pieces up front, which with even mediocre goaltending, you probably make the playoffs with.
Yeah, exactly. And and it sucks in the sense that like Philadelphia had a really good season, and like Columbus also had a decent season, and the Devils had a really great season too. And all those people are in your division. So I mean, like it sucks for the Islanders, but at the same time, maybe this is, I don't know. I really feel that I really see Tavares leaving, and I think it would be kind of a mistake if he stayed. So it's hard to speculate on what Tavares is going to do. I also don't put it under like a hockey player to just stay just because it's the most boring, most predictable thing.
Yeah, well, and we've seen that
that's hockey player suity. So
yeah, exactly. Right. We've Stamkos stayed. The aforementioned Kopitar stayed when he could have left. Yeah, I still think the leader in the clubhouse is Tavares staying, but I guess I don't expect him to sign July 1st. I think he can wait. He doesn't have to sign, right?
Sure. He'll see some offers available. He'll see what's going to happen, and I feel like there's only like a few teams that are really capable of taking John Tavares. Vegas is one of them. I wonder what they will do. I'm very curious of what Vegas does in the offseason, to be honest. But because they have a lot of cap room, and if they take like someone like Carlson and like Tavares, I was like, whoa, that team. But anyways, I don't know what's going to happen to Tavares. But I mean, it's sad that Doug Weight got fired. I'm not too sad that Garth Snow got fired. He's got like a lifetime contract. So I'm surprised that he's gone. I don't know what's going to be with the Islanders, though. I don't even know who's going to get hired. Like, who's going to be available?
Well, that is part of the thing. It is obviously very convenient that you have Lou stepping in as the GM, right? Obviously, when he came in, you kind of saw the writing on the wall there. But it is a little late in the offseason to be looking for a coach. As one who had a much later coach have to be replaced when Patrick Waugh quit in August.
Oh God, yeah.
But they went out and they brought in Jared Bednar, and I was excited at the time. He was up against the wall his first season because he had like a week to prep for the season. But I loved what he did this year. And so I think if I'm the Islanders, and Lou knows everyone in the league, right? Like Lou knows what's happening. He's been in it for, I believe, since the league started. Lou Lamoriello has been in the front office.
I'm pretty sure.
So, he knows the coaches available around the league. I think what you need to do is you need to do something similar to what Colorado did. Don't bring someone up. Don't bring up your AHL coach. You need to go find someone from outside the organization who can have a fresh perspective on what's happening, and go from there. Don't bring in one of these old recycled coaches who like Doug Hartley or Bob Hartley.
Bob Hartley. Yeah.
Like don't do something like that. I'm assuming that they're smart enough not to. But please don't. Like I don't hate the Islanders. I want them to do well, especially for Matt's sake. So yeah. I think just go find someone. Kind of look at what's available out there.
But if Tavares leaves, is it going to be a good thing for like a coach to be going in there? Like, I mean, who is their best player after Tavares? Is it Jordan Eberle? Is it Matt Barzal, and that's it?
Probably, yeah. Like, it's not going to be good. That's what
No.
Like, it doesn't. If Jonathan Tavares leaves, you have officially started a rebuild immediately. So it doesn't matter, right? Like, and it's great because the Flames gave them a first-round pick for Hamonic. So you've already You've already kick-started that rebuild. You've got the picks. You've got a quality general manager who can do that for you. So just make it happen. It's fine.
That's true, I guess. That's true. They got 2 picks in a row, so just don't pull a Boston, and then you're good. You'll be good.
Yeah, exactly. And even Boston managed to rebound from that somehow. So
yeah, true.
I guess enough blind darts thrown at a wall. Eventually, you'll do okay.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I don't know with the Islanders. I hope the best for Doug Weight. I'm counting the days till the Oilers hire Doug Weight in some sort of capacity, though. That's what's gonna.
I don't think the Oilers have any more random coaching positions to give Doug Weight.
You will be surprised. We will find a position for Doug Weight. Any Oilers alumni, the Oilers will find a position to do anything around. He'll be like assistant to the assistant of the assistant coach.
Yeah, and I think Glenn Gulletson now needs an assistant on the bench. So because they brought in him and I forget who the other guy who
Trent Yanni.
Yeah. So they brought them in as assistants. Paul Coffey's still in the organization somehow doing something.
I don't know. Yeah, I made a shrug emoji. I'm like, I don't know.
The old boys club down there. Maybe Pierre Turgeon should go coach the Islanders. Just follow in the old Oilers mentality.
It works for us.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Islanders.
No, don't do that. Take it for someone who knows. Man, oh man.
One thing that we were talking about a little bit before the show, as we were just kind of talking about some topics for the day, just kind of came across the thought of with the finals in Washington right now. Mm-hmm. I feel like we have an extra smattering of something I hate, which is people getting politics all up in my sports.
Okay.
So you've got that, and like I know there's just politics all over sports. We saw like there was news today. I don't want to get into rights or wrongs. You know, there was the Eagles didn't go to the White House. I really don't. I have an opinion, but this isn't what we're here for, and that's the point. That's my point.
Okay.
I don't care about getting politics and sports combined. They're different. I don't want to sit here and have to have people whose political opinions are all over the place ruining what is a perfectly good hockey game.
So I'm countering to this. The only reason why is because politics are already in sports. Politics have been in sports for years and years and years and years and ages, and I think we will never get away from politics being entrenched in sports. And these are people, right? Like these are people who obviously these people's lives matter, and they will have opinions about politics, and I think it's good for them to express those opinions, but also like it's good for them if they have an opinion that's, you know, misinformed or whatever. It's good for people to be like, yo, that opinion's not cool, man, or that opinion, I think you need to like read some books or something, because I don't think we can get away with this. I don't think we can get away from saying that we have to separate sports and politics. I think politics is firmly entrenched in sports, and like it's the reason why we sing the national anthem every start of the game. It's the reason why we have military salutes every time of the game. It's politics. It's all politics. So like there's no getting away from that, I think, and I think we need to embrace it now, because I think it's going to become an important part of it because of social media and because of these athletes' platforms. And this year is going to be really interesting because, you know, the finals are in Washington, and Alex Ovechkin, which could be the first Russian captain to ever raise the Stanley Cup. I don't think there has been a Russian captain to raise the Stanley Cup. Is that correct? I'm not wrong here, am I?
I'm trying to recall. I don't think of any.
Yeah, I can't think of any. So I'm assuming that he's the first one, and he is a hard-line Vladimir Putin supporter. And with what's going on with the Trump thing and Russia, it's going to be a very interesting thing if he goes to the White House. And
but like that's my point. What, like, so it's interesting, sure, but we have all these things. The fact that we, you know, even the simple fact that we sing the national anthem before the games, like, why?
Exactly. Why?
There is no reason for us to sing the national anthem before the game. When the Canadian national anthem is on, do I stand and sing? Absolutely, right?
Yep.
I love my country, 100%. But there is no reason, like when two Canadian teams are facing off, there is no need for us to sing the national anthem between them. When it's cross border, it's not like it's an international competition. If it was Team Canada versus Team USA, I could understand. But when you have Americans on the Canadian team and Russians on the American team and Swedes and Czechs, and we're not playing all of them. Like if we had some sort of super lit mashup of all the anthems, that I could get behind.
That would be great.
I'd try to learn that, but we don't, right? So like even that, like you say it's part of it, but like there's no reason why this is all part of what we do as sports fans. I'm ready for it to stop. Like the fact that you try to have these conversations with people, and the fact that, you know, you go on social media, you go in the news, and this is the things that are being talked about instead of what's actually happening in the games, it takes away from what's happening, right? Like I don't want to turn on, I do not most certainly want to turn on a hockey game and see Mike Milbury talking about someone traveling to the White House. Like whose idea of fun is that? That is not what anyone wants to see, right?
Just Mike Milbury talking. I would just like to stop that. That would be great in general.
But like especially that version. So
no, I you know what? There's a part of that which I agree with, because it is entertainment and it's sports, and like I watch a hockey game to be entertained, and like that's the main part of it, and it's exciting to talk about like the players and whatnot. But it's like I don't. These are people, right? And I think these people have lives and these people have ideas, and like it's hard for us to say that we want like characters in our game, and we want like individuals in the game, and we want people who are cool and like exciting, but also say, you know what, you can't talk about whatever it is opinion that you have. So like, I mean, yeah, like I don't agree with Ovechkin and his Putin thing. I don't agree with like Brizgalov when he was talking about Crimea and all that stuff. Like it was kind of weird, and you know, like, and I understand where
Brizgalov, the only person who says weirder things than Mike Milbury is Ilya Brizgalov. So
it's true, but I mean, like, then we have to kick like, I mean, and I'm all 100% for this, but like we would have to kick like Don Cherry off the TV, and because he goes on political rides too.
If there's any reason that we need, let's do it.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't think we can get away with it, and I think it's high time that we actually kind of like, we're not going to get rid of the national anthems. We're not, which is stupid. I totally agree with that opinion that saying that singing the national anthems. I think it's superfluous, and I think it's not important. Like North America is the only country, is the only continent that does that. Like you don't see that any other places, like that they sing the national anthem after like a league game. Like it doesn't make sense. So it's like, and you're right. Like we sing the American national anthem when there's like Swedes and Russians and Czechs and whatever other country. Like Leon Draisaitl just sits and just like skates while the Canadian and American national anthem play.
Right. And he's never getting the German anthem played for him.
No, never. Unless Germany gets a team, which never happens. So, I mean, like, I don't know. I think players as role models, because they are role models. And people who are like, oh, the players, like players like, I don't even want to be a role model. Like, you're a professional hockey player. You're going to be a role model, regardless if you like it or not. They have to be learned. They have to like learn these things. And some of these players are learned. They know what they're talking about. And sometimes they need to use that platform. And I've seen Jonathan Toews, for instance, talk about environmental issues. And I've seen like a Dan Carcillo talking about mental health stuff. Like, that's great. That's a platform you definitely should be going on. But like politics should be one of those things too. Like I think people should be fighting for things that they really care about. If they want to fight, like talk about immigration or to talk about prison reform or whatever it is that they really care about, yeah, use that. I think it's really important for the players to be positive role models in the community, and that's a part of it too. That's really why I feel that we should embrace that kind of stuff.
You know what? I might have, for one of the very first times ever, you might have moved my stance just a little, because I do think that people with any platform should use it for a positive angle, and I guess I just don't like hearing people whose opinions I like. Just stop talking.
You just don't like
just like I really am not enjoying the words coming out of your mouth right now, and I think that's the core of it.
Yeah. When Don Cherry goes on his like David Suzuki rant or whatever his climate change nonsense, yeah, I'm already like, just turn off, man. Just retire, friend. But like I agree with you in that sense. But at the same time, I'm like, this is the situation we're in. So let's embrace it. Let's because if there's other people that are gonna say, whoa, that's not a cool thing, then it kind of like negates the Don Cherry nonsense or the Mike Milbury nonsense that happens or the Jeremy Roenick stuff that happens too. So it's like, I don't know. To me, I think it's a good thing, and I think it's high time for the NHL to actually embrace the players' individualism, and I think that's we need that in the NHL.
Yeah, and you know what, I can get behind if there's a lot more people with a positive perspective. Let's just if we can get behind encouraging that, then you've likely swayed my opinion slightly.
Yes, win.
There you go. Why don't you let everyone know about your other? We talked about the 104. You are a man of many, many talents, and lots of very, very exciting things happening with the Modern Manhood show. So why don't you let everyone know what you got going on over there?
Yeah, like I run a podcast called Modern Manhood, and it's presented by this awesome organization called Next Gen Men. If you're listening in Calgary, they're an organization out of Calgary, and they are out of Toronto as well. They do. They work through healthy relationships, and they work through positive masculinity. And they run groups like there's a group called Wolfpack, and they meet every once a month, and they talk about ideas around masculinity and positive and healthy masculinity, and about emotions and about mental health and a bunch of other stuff, which is really, really cool and really needed, especially for us guys. And that's the whole point of Modern Manhood, is to create conversations, positive conversations around masculinity, and to show what different types of masculinity there are in the world, because that's the whole point. And I want to make sure to bring good examples of what positive masculinity looks like. And I'm so happy that I'm talking to you, because I think like we need to have a good positive conversations, and I think and like Carl's a great person to talk to, and we've had some private conversations, and I think it's really cool to talk to somebody like that, and I think we need more examples of that too. So that's the whole point of the podcast, and and go support our Next Gen Men. They're a great organization, and so if you're in Calgary, go check them out.
Yeah, what I love about your show is you have great guests that come from. I have no idea where you find these guests, because I'm always amazed. I'm like, man, this is such a cool conversation, and you don't shy away from anything really.
Try not
to. And I know there's the possibility for awkward conversations, but you lean into those. And you embrace and you acknowledge even this could be awkward starting it, right? And so I appreciate that about what you do over there.
Thanks, man.
And just the different conversations, the different guests that you find from all over the map. It's a lot of fun. If you want to find that, where would they find your show?
So you can go check out Modern Manhood. You can go check out modernmanhood.org, or you can just go to the Alberta Podcast Network page, which is albertapodcastnetwork.com. You can find both of our shows, like The Fourth Line and Modern Manhood, on there. Just go check it out. And when, Carl, you're talking about guests, there's always an open invitation for guests. I look out for guests specifically if they have a specific expertise. But if you have a story to tell and you want to share your story about whatever it is that you need to talk about, it's around positive masculinity or healthy masculinity, send me a line. Go on the website, send me an email, send me a comment. I respond, and I read everything you sent me, and I'll respond when I can. And I've gotten some great questions and some great ideas. So, you talked about guests and where I get them from. Some of the times I get them from someone just sending me a random email, and that's great too. So just do that too. I'm all for conversation.
That's fantastic. And if you want to find your show, it's at Modern Man Pod on Twitter. The 104 is at 1, the letter O, 4 pod. And yourself, you are at Erman, not German.
German, not German. Just make it easier.
German, not German on Twitter. You can head over there, give him a follow, and check out the show. It is a very good podcast, which covers a lot. It's very different than us, except for that one time where I was on and we talked about masculinity in hockey, which if you're a subscriber to this show last summer, you've already heard that as well.
As you can tell, I have a lot of hockey takes.
Yeah, we love you. Thanks for coming on the show today. Thank you for filling in for Joel.
Appreciate it, man.
If all goes according to plan, we'll be back next week. He is doing Always Wonderful. He hit 2 Little League home runs last night, so he's pretty happy with himself.
What a guy. Shout out to you, Joel.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us at thefourthlinepodcast.com. Very excited to add, a couple weeks ago we added Christy Laux joined our writing crew. This week, Alan Erickson, who we've been friends with through our connection with Nuts and Bolts Sports for some time, but now he is having some pieces, so he's writing about mostly Carolina Hurricanes, so he has a piece up on the website right now. Go check it out about what to expect from the Carolina Hurricanes this offseason, how they can fix things going forward with a new GM and a coach, and it's not a nice time in Carolina. There's a lot of people on edge there, so head over there.
Yeah.
Check out that piece. You can find us on Twitter at Fourth Line Podcast. Shout out to Mike, who somebody finally picked a game-winning goal scorer at Mike Filche. I think that's his last name.
Woo!
Congrats to Mike. He finally picked it. Obviously, he went with the obvious choice of Devontae Smith-Pelly scoring this game winner in game number 4. Congrats to him. Someone had to get some points eventually. He's the only person. He's the leader in the clubhouse with 3 points in high sticking. Head over to our Twitter at Fourth Line Podcast. Pick who you think is going to score the game-winning goal, and you could win. There's only
3 games left.
Smattering of points left to hand out, and only a handful handed out so far. 7-game sample sizes make for very fun, very weird standings for high sticking. So head over there, check that out. Find us on Facebook, Pinterest. You can find us everywhere that you listen to podcasts. If you like the show, or don't like it, but preferably if you like it, give us a review, a subscription. We would love that very much. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Boom City.